If you want to make some sound effects, you can use Labchirp. It's a free sound generator. You can go to the link in the description and you can download it here. If you want, you can also donate to Labchirp because it's free. And you can use the content created in Labchirp in commercial projects. When you download Labchirp, you will have an HTML, which is also the same theme here, the manual, where you will have some information if you want to go more in depth about this. All right, you can see the license here and everything explained. In this video, I'm just going to give you an overview. So when you open Labchirp, you will have something like this. If you go and press play, by default, you are going to have a single frequency, which is this frequency right here. No, sorry, this frequency right here, which is 440 Hz. Sounds like this. And it is not very satisfactory. First thing we can do is modify the length. You might ask why 22,050 means 1 second. This is mostly has to do with the hertz. So as you can see, we have here 8 bit with that number of hertz, 16 bits, and with more hertz. I am not a sound expert, but this basically means that has more resolution than this. So depending on the aesthetics you want for the sounds of your game, you will choose more definition or less definition. I'm going to stick with this, alright? First thing you can do is modify the frequency. You want something that sounds more deep. You decrease the frequency. There we go. You want something that sounds high pitch. You increase the frequency. Alright? You can also control the volume here. Now here we have the wave that controls the frequency or the volume, depending on what you select here. So here we can add points. Just click and drag. Let's make something like this. And you will see that when I play, it's going to rise in frequency, go down, up, and down again. Let's maybe make it a little bit longer so you can notice it better. Something like that. Alright. And this is linear. If you want something more smooth, you can activate curve. Alright. If you want to do the same with the volume, you can do something like this. It's going to dip in volume in the middle. And of course, this is the wave representation of our current sound. You can also modulate the frequency and the volume with other waves and just experiment with this, right? Now, the thing we have here is different channels. So right now, our main waveform on the channel 1 is a sine waveform. We can also have a triangular waveform. That sounds a little bit like this. I'm not going to teach you sound design theory, mostly because I don't know that. But you have some other tutorials on the internet explaining what the different waveforms are. Alright, you can play with different stuff. Now we can also add up waveforms just by activating a new channel. You can add up to 8 channels. So let's say we maybe want a square waveform that sounds like this. And we want to mix that with a sine waveform. And now we are going to have something like this. And of course, each channel has a different length. Let's match the length of this. Let's maybe make this a little bit like this. Modify the volume. Let's make it like so, for example. And let's have a little bit of fun with the frequency of this, of the second channel, where we are going to have a sine waveform. And you can see now we have a little bit more complex sound effect. Let's just add a third channel with a little bit of noise right there. Let's see how that sounds. All right, let's match. We can also add a delay here, which means that that channel is going to start a little bit later, as you can see here. All right, let's make it, we want to increase the volume of the noise when the sound is ending, for example. Something like that. Let's activate again. Let's increase this. Let's also match the length of this. Alright, so let's say that is our sound. Another thing we can do is, let's come to the first channel. Alright, we can go to effects and add some effects here. I'm not going to go over all of them, but just again experiment, find some interesting stuff. I'm going to add a reverb, and that's going to sound like this. And you can choose to apply this effect to all the channels, or maybe only to specific channels. For example, if I only want it on the second channel. Alright, let's make it only on the first one. Let's bring back the noise. And that is what we have. And again, we have some other effects that you can play with. Cool. So now we are going to check out the Mutator. And after that, we are going to check the Randomizer. Mutator. This is basically going to randomly modify some properties of your noise to create similar noises, but different. Basically, it's going to mutate the noise. And you can click Mutate. And of course, it is a similar sound, but different. We can play again. And that's basically it. You can modify the amount of variation you want, and you can also batch save a lot of mutations. Let's say, for example, that we want 15 different mutations of this sound. We can save. Let's make a folder here. Weird sound. Let's give it a name. Weird sound. And that is going to start generating a lot of different mutations. Now we can bring all of those together here. And a Reaper, for example. And we are going to have different sounds. And this is useful if you are making, for example, step sounds and you want variation. And yeah, that's basically it. Let's check a look at the randomizer. So the randomizer is basically going to make some random sounds. Just like that. It's going to mess everything up. All the different variables between these ranges is going to pick a value and make a sound out of that. You can get some interesting stuff of this, and of course you can also batch save amount of randomized sounds. And there are also some presets here. For example, we have some footsteps. Let's click randomize. And there we have some presets to randomize some footsteps. We also have some punches. And you can of course create your own presets and everything, just like a normal program. So that's basically what Labchirp is. It's a very simple software, very useful to make some quick sounds that you can later maybe bring to Reaper or something like Audacity and make some more complex sounds. So hopefully this will help you make your game sound a little bit better. If you found this video useful, please share it, leave a like, and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Have a nice day. I will see you in the next video.